It's 248jdude here again. It's been a long time, probably been about 10 years. A lot of different formats, a lot of different Yu-Gi-Oh! But here we are again. I know with the coronavirus going on, everybody's looking for new content and everybody's looking for just a reprieve. And, it's kind of affected those who play the game. Especially, we have YCS is closing, we have regionals closing, we have the NWACQ closing, Worlds closing. So it's a hard time for Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially, we have just had the drop of Master Rule 5. So no one really knows what's going to be competitive. No one's really knowing what the current meta is going to be. So I thought I'd bring back a classic. This is actually going to be my main deck. I've got a couple different ideas I'm floating around with, but this is the one that I've settled on, and this is the one that I'm very, very happy building. I actually, truth be told, we're running a kind of a invite-only little tournament tomorrow, just with some people from my local area. It's going to be a really good time just to get people to play there, obviously social distance and all that good stuff, not maxing out the 10 people as most states, but I advise people to do that if your state allows it. Obviously, if your state doesn't allow it, don't risk it. I mean, we all do just play a card game. I know it's a lot of fun for a lot of us, and it's a lot of relief. But, do it as a, do it with safety. And we're definitely doing it with safety. It's the only people we're very comfortable with and people from the area. So this is my post-ban list Pendulum build. I've been watching a lot of pen builds. Obviously, Nyhmnim is a big influence on me. Also, Trifgaming, Team Sam, those guys, big influences on me. Wanted to build this deck. So this was my take on it. I've play tested it a lot against several different decks. It's been very well. Mech Knights seem to destroy it, but Mech Knights are just pretty good. So without further ado, let's get into the build. So we'll start with the main. I run 3 Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. This is a really good card, especially if you drop it with Dragon Shrine. This isn't the main card you drop with Dragon Shrine, though. It's a really good beater. It helps you go into your extra deck pretty consistently, and also with the 7, it's pretty easy to make on scale. Also, it's a scale 8. Its effect is really good, too, especially considering what I run in this deck. So I also run 2 Odd Eyes Personal Dragon. Really good card. I don't think I've ever once used its pendulum effect. I put it in the scale a lot just because it's a scale 1. Its quick effect is actually pretty decent. I've never once, popped it off, but it's a pretty decent effect if you can manage it. I also run, to finish up the Odd Eyes package, 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons. They look amazing as this, silver prismatic rare. Its effects are pretty decent. It's kind of convoluted. So if you had an Odd Eyes get destroyed, you activate its effect to bring it out of the scale and then put another Odd Eyes back in the scale. So it's pretty good. It's a popper. It's what I like to call them. So it's pretty cool. Next, this is my favorite package in the deck. It's the Supreme package. So I run 2 Dark Worm. I would like to run 3, but 2 is just what I've been testing with. And you seem to draw into it pretty quick, especially if you draw into your Dragon Shrine or your Dragon Ravine and just ditch it off that, and then you can get a lot of plays going with this card, especially since I run Gate 0. Its effects is pretty trash, especially since I don't run the Arc V, because Arc V is also trash. So you hardly ever use its effect, but you use it as a scale 0. So you can start your scales pretty amazingly like that. So, and then there's 2 more packages in this, so it's a Perform Pal. Perform Pal Odd Eyes Synchron, just really good Synchron, a really good effect to target and make something a tuner, especially with the new format. Synchros are definitely coming back, everybody. So this card is pretty fucking amazing. This is my fusion material card. So Odd Eyes Dissolver, pretty much when it's in the scale, as long as I have the materials on field or in hand, I can fusion summon. It's not restrictive, doesn't have to be once per turn. It's pretty ridiculous, especially since I only run 1 fusion in the deck and it's a dragon. It's pretty fucking amazing. So I pretty much, if I draw into that card, I'm off to the races. And the last card, Celestial, for the Perform Palace package. it's just a good card in general. It's got a really good pendulum effects. It's a good targeting. It's an overall very, very, very good card. So obviously the chronograph and the time gazer, just a really good, be able to special summon. Also scale 8s, so amazing, really good. Also, chronograph sorcerer is one of the best looking cards that was ever created in Yu-Gi-Oh history. Then we run the magician package. So harmonizing still one of the best pendulum cards ever created. Don't sleep on this card. It's really, really, really good. Purple poison. God, this card's amazing, especially with the popping effect, with the plus attack bonus. I mean, it's this card's ridiculous. It's really, really, really good. I actually am considering running more of this over some cards in this deck, but for one right now, it's really good. Also, Dragon Caller, just to make things dragons so you can pop into things faster. Pretty awesome. And also Aloof Magician, just for more magician targets. Its effect is pretty good to be able to special summon. Alright, and then we have the Endymion package. Now, this is my favorite package. When I first got the concept of this deck, I considered building just pure Endymions, especially with the new Link that has just recently come out. Because that effect is absolutely insane, and you can just recycle and run it through. Shout out to Trifgaming. But yeah, so I actually only run 3 Endymion cards, kinda. Technically only 2, but I consider all 4 of these cards. So all 4 of these cards a part of that Endymion package because they're spell counter cards. So 1 Mighty Master, obviously. Mighty Master is still insane, still one of the most broken cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. Can't even be targeted, so that outs a lot of boards easily. It's a great outage to a lot of things. Server of Endymion, one of the greatest pendulum cards, also one of the greatest, Endymion cards that was ever made. Pretty amazing. Especially this was a really common card to pull in the set that it came in as a super. I mean, it looked just awesome as a super. So, pretty cool. Jackal King. I actually am considering also running a Master Cerberus, but Jackal King just for right now. And then I run 3 Abductor. It's just a good normal summon. Also, it's a rank 3. It's upscale 3. It's effects to bring things out of the deck after just 3 spell counters. Pretty insane. It's really, that it kind of saves me. It has saved me a couple times. So its effect is really, really, really good. And then we have a small dragon package. I run Outperformance Sloth. Its effect is really good, especially if you're trying to slow the game down a little bit, let your scales play, let yourself play the game a little bit. Very good card. Its attack is nothing to sneeze at either. Also, it's a good target for a lot of different things that you can fuse into, just different things like that. Also, run a Destrudo as another tuner. The card's really good. It's a really amazing targeting effect. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So that'll do it for all the monsters in this deck. So we'll go on and move to the spells, which there is a lot of. So I run 3 Sky Iris. This card, people sleep on this card. This card has actually been pretty amazing, especially because you can't target monsters in the scale that are Perform Pals or Odd Eyes cards or Magicians, and that's mostly what goes in my scale. So it's been pretty awesome. Also, the effect to target and destroy and to add something is pretty awesome. Then I run 2 Pendulum Call, just to get the engine rolling. Also, Magicians wouldn't be able to be targeted. It's pretty awesome. Then I run 2 Duelist Alliance. Very good search card. It just keeps the plays rolling. Also, if I have just an Endymion in the scale or a Jackal King or something like that, it's super good just to go, Endymion Duelist Alliance, just start building counters. And that's a great way to play, and it's a great way to be able to kind of control what your scales are going to be. Yeah, so this card is actually pretty awesome in this deck. I was going to run 3, but I think 2 is perfect. Also, 2 is perfect when it comes to this card. So this is Spell Power Mastery. If I can ever get it out of the damn... Okay, here we go. So this is Spell Power Mastery. I love this card. I think this card's great. The artwork on this card's amazing. Also, to add Endymions and then put more counters on. Not even just from Mastery. Now, the only reason I don't run 3 is because there's a very small Endymion package in this. And to have 3, I don't want there not to be another target for it. So I run 1 Summoner's Art. This is just so I can pull out that Odd Eyes Arc to get a lot of plays going. Also, look at the art on this card. That's kind of fucking sick. We run, to help with the dragon packages, I run 2 Dragon Shrine. Very, very, very good, especially if, Dragon Shrine into Dark Worm to summon, Dark Worm to add 0. That's probably one of the biggest plays in this entire deck. 1 Dragon Ravine. I think 1 is enough, especially because it's at 1 now. Even if it wasn't at 1, I would probably only run 1 of this card. So, it does... For this deck, it does similar things. It does exactly the exact same thing as Dragon Shrine, just to ditch a dragon. So it gets a lot of plays rolling. The 1 Terraforming to search out it or Sky Iris, depending on what plays you need. Wish this card was at more than it was. I actually would probably play the Endymion field spell if this card was at more than it is. But I don't want to run into too many field spells when I play this deck. And then in just some staples. 3 Allure, obviously, Into the Void, and Foolish Burial. And then traps. There's not a single trap in this entire deck. I've just been running that type of build. I think it works pretty well. I think, if I was going to run traps, I would run, the standard, like, Solemn or Red Reboot. But no traps in this one. So, now I move on to the extra deck. I run 1 Fusion, and that is Odd Eyes Vortex. This card is probably the second best, maybe the third best extra deck card in my entire deck. I love its effect. People have a hard time getting around this effect. Also, there's always stuff in your extra deck, so just to target and, pop back to hand and kind of fuck up their field is... it's kind of ridiculous. So I move on to Synchrons. So Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, insane card. Epidon Dragster, very good card if you're going first, which this deck actually, I was playing decks that, you typically like to go second, especially with the Danger package. But now that I actually play this deck this way, with this card, I actually am comfortable going either or, especially if I'm going to build my skills and just build a ridiculous board. So last is Trish. I think Trish is just an overall outstanding card. I love its artwork. I love its effect. I've been Trish so many times, and it never gets easier anytime you get Trish. Move on to XCs. So we have Odd Eyes Absolute and Dweller. Dweller's awesome. Absolute. The ability to negate and then also bring back an Odd Eyes. So you negate with Odd Eyes and then target Engrave to summon it back up. I usually use Arc V for this. So Arc Pendulum. So I'll detach Arc Pendulum to add back Arc Pendulum just to get another beater on board. It's pretty awesome. Then we'll move on to Links. This is where the deck gets fun for me. So I run an LP. LP, you'll see why here in a minute. LP is just insane for this deck, especially if I can use it with the card that I'll show you here in a minute to pull off Vortex. And especially, to link 1 dragon, I can link off Dark Worm, go into LP, especially if I build an awesome board, link off LP, and, obviously the other card, and get Vortex, and then just start spamming. So I also run a Heroic Seal. This is probably, if not the first, the second best card in my extra deck. I absolutely love this card. This card has been insane. I'm surprised it's as cheap as it is, with as amazing as it is. I think more dragon players should play this card. Even if it brings dragons down to 0, you still get their effects, and you still get Heroics as a quick play on your opponent's turn. So, they might go Appaloosa, or, I guess Appaloosa, they can negate it. Or, they could start bringing out a big board and need something. Heroic. Also run Nightmare Cerberus. This card was a later edition. I haven't really tested it out yet. I think its effect is going to be insane. Especially if I can target in a main zone. Especially since, Synchrons are going to be main play now, I think this card's going to get a lot better, and it's going to get a lot more play. I run Day Shining. This is still a kind of a decision. I may take this card out and put something better in, maybe some Super Poly Target. But I think its ability to gain counters and also to get its attack increased and also, remove counter to destroy, I think it's pretty awesome, especially since, most of the shit in this deck is spellcasters, so it's pretty easy to pop off its effects most turns. But again, it might be removed. I don't know. But for right now, it's in the deck. So Twin Burst. Twin Burst works with LP to get Vortex. That is the play. That is the GOAT play, honestly. I run a copy of Unicorn. I love this card. Actually, I have a funny story where I searched for this card through local people for probably a month, and no one had an extra one, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy one. And then 2 days ago, when I was opening Gold Sarks to try to get Nibiru's for cheap, I pulled another one, and I just thought that was ironic and really funny. I run a Saryuja, just because Saryuja. Boral Load. I don't have a Boral Sword. I think I would actually probably rather run Boral Load instead of Boral Sword. I think, Boral Sword's a good OTK card, but that's not what this deck is. If this was an OTK deck, it would definitely be Boral Sword. And then, the GOAT card, run Appaloosa. This card is amazing. It works perfectly with the format of this deck, especially because how fast I can spam a field. So, it's amazing. And then we'll move on to the side. So this side I'm actually really proud of. I just recently put this side together, and I think it's pretty good. There's a lot of changes that I would make if I had access to more stuff, which I do, but I didn't want to, I don't want to go crazy with it right now, especially with everything that's going on. So, one Red Blossom from Underroot. This was a decision. I think this card is actually slept on really hard, and I think it's really, really, really good, especially with its effects. Not even just as a hand trap, just as an effect. So, Ghost Orc, obviously. I actually like Ghost Orc over Ash. Excuse the burp. I don't really care. I like the Ghost Orc over Ash. I think Ash is kind of overrated, but Ghost Orc is a lot better. And then Pinkertops. I love this card. This card has been awesome. Has saved a lot of games for me. So that's also a really good spam card. Gamma Seal. Gamma Seal is awesome. I love Gamma Seal to death. I think it's awesome. I just also love the Kaiju archetype. I think it's pretty cool. And then for the finish up the monsters, Toot Nibiru. Spells, we'll have Dark Ruler No More. Actually, I'm probably going to end up getting more of these. But the one for right now. A Twin. A Regeki. A Cosmic Cyclone. And that's all for the spells. And then we'll move on to the traps. There's only 4 of them. 2 Judgments. 1 Strike. And then Compulse is my Optimistic Mind. So I hope everybody liked the deck. I hope everybody's being safe. And hopefully we can get back to real Yu-Gi-Oh! Soon, ladies and gents. And this is 248jdude signing out.